Welcome to Business on the Vine. I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis, and in this dynamic series, we dive into the challenges, breakthroughs, and victories of entrepreneurs who have turned their passion into success. Welcome. Welcome to Business on the Vine. We're giggling a little bit because we were talking about some girly stuff right beforehand. But I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis. Welcome to Business on the Vine. And today I have with me Renee Hastings. Welcome, Renee. I'm delighted to have you here.
Thank you so much, Lady Jen. I am honored to be here today.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this. This is something that is really, really important for me as a leadership coach, right? So for you, this is going to be, we're going to be speaking the same language, basically. We're going to be speaking the same language. So let me introduce, well, first of all, I want to tell everyone welcome, welcome. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen to us or watch us. You might be, we didn't get the memo, but we got some kind of thing going on because we're both wearing blue today. Isn't that amazing? But I want to introduce Renee formally, and then we'll just dive right in. And we're going to be talking today about executive help and how to delegate. That's our topic today. And so Renee is the president and CEO of Executive Help Now, which is a global virtual assistant service agency specializing in account executives, business operations managers, project managers, and senior executives. She is a Dale Carnegie leadership training coach, and her mission is freeing up time for life's most important moments. I love that, Renee. So I'm going to dive right in. Interesting in your bio. You specialize in account executives, business operations, blah, 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 blah. So you specialize in a lot of different areas. Who needs the most help in those areas? Who needs the most help?
I would say the person that needs the most help typically is the founder of a company who is spending too much time doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Things that don't move the needle, things that don't add to the bottom line, whether they love it or not.
Yes.
If their time should be spent doing something else, there's a time value add concept that if you're being paid $300 an hour to do something that somebody who's paid much less could be doing, then that's an activity that you should not be handling yourself. That's an activity that should be delegated to someone else.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we're going to dive a little deeper into that because that's just surface, right? We've heard that before. Anything that you're not being paid as much, you should be being paid. But I think there's other things that we need to explore as well. So as I said, we're going to be talking about mastering delegation and how it's a game changer for entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
And this is, so when I think about one of the mantras I have, just to bring you into the loop, Renee, the mantras is stop working in and on your business and start living above and beyond it.
I love that.
And that's the mantra that I live by. And I love that your mission is just loving life, because for me, that beyond is the most important thing. And then, having the lifestyle and then going, oh, that's right, I have a business that I need to run is so much better than the business is running me and all I do is work in front of my computer. Right. And so that's what we're really talking about. So whether you're a new novice entrepreneur, a wannapreneur, maybe you're making that transition from, some kind of a corporate job, or you're a tenured founder, who's savvy and high end, this delegation piece of it, there's no way that a business can be successful without having a team of people around you, whether it's virtual, AI, in person, a combination of all three. You need all three. So when you were starting off as, well, first of all, yeah, okay. So I'm sure there was, right, a season in your life when freedom meant something very different from what it does today. Because generally somebody's mess becomes their message or mission. So what changed for you that you now are so compelled to help others realize that same thing?
Well, I think it had a lot to do with where I was in corporate America. So before I was a business owner, I actually worked in corporate America, supporting high-level executives in Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies. And I saw firsthand what those golden handcuffs look like.
Mm-hmm.
And when someone actually mentioned to me the idea of being a business owner, I was like, no, I don't think so. I'm quite happy in my, full
I get to
time
go home to my
regular.
family.
Yeah, I don't have all of these similar. I didn't realize that that is something that I was supposed to be doing. But
Mm-hmm.
it just takes one person to plant
Mm-hmm.
a seed before you start thinking these thoughts that you may not have always thought. and then
Right.
and
Right.
then so I started thinking, what could it look like? And so I started taking on my own clients, and in addition, while I still had my full-time day job. So it was a side hustle. I put that in air quotes for those that are just listening in.
Uh,
And so I did them both at the same time. But when I actually started burning the candle at both ends, trying to fulfill my full-time day job and then fulfilling my full-time business
mm-hmm.
ownership role, that because it kept growing and growing and growing, it began to take on a life of its own. And I couldn't handle the load anymore. So when I brought on my first assistant, that's when my world changed.
Yeah.
It actually was an absolute game changer for me to bring an assistant in to actually experience what life could be like when I didn't have to wear all the hats and do
Mm-hmm.
all the things. And when I finally had this epiphany, it came along with it not only freedom, because now I was able to get more sleep. I was
Yeah.
able to produce
Oh, I
better.
forgot something, right? And writing it down. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Or produce more quality work,
Mm-hmm.
which was a really important thing to me, is that my a standard of excellence was super high that had started to slip because I didn't have anyone to delegate to. And so the freedom that came along with this assistant was just mind boggling. And I said to myself, everyone has to have an assistant.
Yes.
I don't care if they're in corporate America, if they are starting their own business, like you just said, brand new in the game, or been in it for forever. Until you actually understand the impact that being able to delegate can have on your life, you'll never truly be free.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
really, I believe that with 100% of my being.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do too. I mean, I delegate everything. I
Same.
don't do anything. Right? Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, and I do stuff. There's no doubt about it. I definitely do things, but getting to that point now, most business owners, have read the E-Myth, right? And I actually didn't even know the book existed when I first started delegating a long time
The
ago. I was in
evening.
corporate America too, but I didn't even know the book existed. But I do hear this a lot from a lot of people, and I want to get your take on this. That a lot of mentors or coaches will say to a business owner, the very first hire that you have, and this comes right out of the ebook, is to have an administrative assistant. Um, what is your take on that? Because I'm not in full agreement. I'm going to let you know right now. I'm not in full agreement with that. But what is your take on it?
I absolutely believe that that should be the first hire.
Okay.
And
And why?
and
Yeah.
I believe that because an administrative assistant, typically an administrative assistant worth their salt, isn't just a doer.
Mm-hmm.
They're someone who is a thought leader and a strategic partner that joins with you in lockstep as you cast vision, as you verbalize what your goal and your mission is. They take all of that in and they make it their mission to make sure that you're able to achieve whatever that looks like, even if
Mm-hmm.
it looks like helping you hire somebody to do another task.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the second hire.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And then
or,
they get elevated to a project manager or something. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Or a
Mm-hmm.
business operations manager.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the level of our assistance. But
Mm-hmm.
the founder has to, first of all, realize that that person shouldn't just be a doer. They shouldn't have to be the one that you give them one thing and they just do that one thing and that's all they do.
Right. Right. Yeah. You
That's
want
not
them
who you
to
need.
be, and you have to encourage that as a leader. That's the other thing too. It's not just assumed, and a colleague of mine has this great quote, and I'm always paraphrasing because I don't know the exact quote, which is expectations without agreement creates frustration, resentment,
Mm.
communication breakdowns. I mean, I can go on and on and on, right? If we don't have expectations without agreement. So if we're a business owner and we say we're going to hire an administrative assistant or a VA, right? We're labeling these things, which no one on my team is a VA, a virtual assistant. No one's an assistant, anything. Everybody has a real title, right? Yeah. But when we assume that because we're hiring a VA, they're a doer, but we really needed someone who is lock and step, like you're saying. That's when expectations without agreement is a big failure for businesses. And I hear a lot of business owners say, well, I tried that before. I hired and it didn't work out. And we hear that quite a bit, right? I'm sure you've heard that before. It's like, oh, I'm so afraid to hire you because I've done this before and it didn't work out. And so whose fault is that, right? It's not the person you're hiring, it's the person, that is doing the hiring.
Right. Because we're not mind readers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But
what? You're not? No. That's what I thought I was hiring.
But once we understand what it is that you want and what you need and what your vision is, then we now have something to work with. You don't have to tell us every single milestone or every single step along the way. Give us the vision. We'll help you get there.
Yeah. And it's amazing because my operations director is like that. Sometimes I'll get on the phone and following up from things and stuff. And I'll say, hey, did you by any chance? Yep. Done. I didn't ask the question.
Yeah.
Yep. Done. You'll get it today. Really? Yeah. Done. Right. And she's just wonderful. And she watches my back. I love that she watches my back. And is she a virtual assistant? Yes, but she doesn't have that title. Right. She's very okay. So, someone's listening to this. They're going, yeah. Okay. I've heard all this virtual assistant stuff before, but.
Well, and I think one of the things though, too, Lady Jen, before we get too far off of that topic, is that your assistant, I'm sure you can relate to this, protects you.
Yes, she watches my back.
She watches your back. And so whenever there are people who are clamoring to get time on your calendar or to take you away from the things that are more important to you, it's your assistant's job.
She's my gatekeeper.
Yeah, to be the gatekeeper. Yes, absolutely, 100%. And then that way you are protected. She's always looking out for you and making sure and anticipating your needs so that you, like you said, don't even have to ask a question. Done.
It's crazy. I know, it's already done. And she does things that I don't even know I need to do. And she protects me in ways I didn't even know I need to be protected. And it's just really, really good. I want to know what would you say to those that are listening here? What's my trigger that I need somebody? Everyone's, there's got to be a trigger. Are there words that we use? Is it hours we work? Is it, we get mad? What is it that you see most with those that are coming to you for business? And by the way, we want to let everybody know that you're going to be giving away a resource guide so that people can figure out what actually can a virtual assistant do for you, so that we want to make sure that we talk about that now, and we'll give you the details later. But so what's the trigger?
I want to say there's so many things that keep people from delegating. And it's usually rooted in some sort of fear.
Yes.
Fear of losing control, fear of, trust issues, whatever it looks like. So if you find yourself in that emotional place of being triggered by something like that, then that could be a sign that you need to do it more. You need to get over whatever it is that's keeping you from doing it so that you do it more. Because once you overcome that trepidation, that fear that's keeping you from delegating, which is now your trigger, you need to do something different. Okay. And so open yourself, be vulnerable, do it afraid, whatever it takes to go ahead and take that leap. And like you said, it might not be the right person the first time, but then learn from that. Figure out what happened. Were you not a great communicator? Did you not trust enough? Did you not let go enough? Or did they not comprehend well? Or was there some sort of loss in translation or whatever it looks like? Figure out what it is so that when your right person comes, your life can take on a whole new meaning.
Yeah, I love it. And I love that you said letting go, because I always say let go to grow. I'm
Yeah.
always saying you've got to let go to grow, and and get rid of that control freak thing. Sometimes it's control freak, that's fear.
Yeah.
It could be trust. It could
Yeah.
be that you don't have systems in place. And so when you've tried it before, you were creating enabling instead of empowering. There's a
Yeah.
whole mess of things. Okay. So I love that perspective of, if you're avoiding something or procrastinating on it, there's kind of your sign, right?
Yeah.
That you need an assistant because it's something you don't want to do,
Yeah.
there, no doubt about it. Well, let me ask you this as a woman, because on Business on the Vine, we talk about your business too, not just what you do for others, but your business. So as a woman leading at a global level,
Mhm.
what is an unspoken rule, or a unspoken rule, that you decided to break in order for you to grow? Because when you
Mhm.
go global, people say, well, you got to be open on, 24/7. Maybe.
Right.
What's an
Yeah.
unspoken rule that you decided to break?
So, one of the unspoken rules that I decided to break was to not believe the lie that only certain people can be in certain rooms.
Oh, yeah, especially as a woman, right? Like going to the big table. I want to
Yes,
see the table kind of thing. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. If you think
Mhm.
of Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
you got
Yes.
the grown-ups table and you
And
got
then
the
the
kiddie
kids'
table.
table.
Yeah. Yeah. You belong at the grown-up table.
Right, right.
And so that's one of the rules that's can be very scary to break because we
Yeah.
can get so accustomed to being the backup, being behind the
Mm.
scenes, being
Mhm.
unseen and not heard. When in actuality, we're supposed to be taking the lead. We're supposed to be the ones in authority.
Well,
We're the
people
ones
are looking
supposed to
at
be.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only are people looking at us, not the other men looking at us, they're wondering how we're going to stand our ground. But we have other young women who are looking at us. And
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah. They're
yeah,
looking for you to lead.
yeah. How do I do this? How do I do it right? We need
Right.
to be the ones that set that example, to do it afraid.
To do it afraid. I love that. Do it afraid. That's going to be, that's your soundbite and mantra, definitely about it. And I think for those that are listening, do it afraid. Be afraid of this and the challenge of it. One of the biggest challenges I hear, with people hiring an assistant is, well, I haven't, and so I want your perspective on this too. I don't make enough money. I'm too new. We call it one size, right? Once I make 100,000, once I've done this, once I've done that, once I've done this, that, and the other, then I'll get someone on board. And I hate to say this to everybody, but once all those things happen, you're too busy to backtrack. And I hear this a lot too. I'm too busy. It's just easier to do it myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
I've heard that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So let's talk about this as well. Is what do you feel, about what I just said? What's your take on that? What do you hear? What do you feel?
Yeah. So I do hear people saying, it's
I'm
easier. I
not
can do
ready.
it quicker myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it quicker myself. It's easier for me to do myself. Again, those are words that keep people small.
Mm-hmm.
And that if you want to grow, if you want to scale at any point in your business growth
Right.
journey, you're going to have to let go and you're going to have to invest what it takes to create that line item in the budget for support. It
Yeah.
is the best investment that you will make in your own life
Mm-hmm.
because that support is what you're going to need to help you stay sane and to help
Yes.
you keep from wearing all of those hats and
Yeah.
keep from missing all of your kids' games or
Mm-hmm. All the
recitals
excuses. Right.
or being able to be home for dinner.
Yeah.
That assistant is what will do that. It is an investment. Yes, it is. But it is money well spent. And if you're going to have to spend money anyway, spend it in the place that's going to move the needle the most. And that's an
Yeah.
assistant.
Instead of SOS, right? Right. The shiny object syndrome and things like that. Yeah.
Right.
I think it's important for people to understand that. And Grant Cardone says this all the time, from 10X, he says it all the time, is that you're buying your time back by hiring someone.
Absolutely.
Because if you hire someone for 10 hours at $20 an hour, let's say, right? I don't know what yours, I'm not saying that. I'm just a lower cost, right? Even if they're part-time, you hire someone for $10 for 20, I mean, $20 an hour for 10 hours, and it costs you $200. What could you have accomplished in that 10 hours?
Exactly.
Doing your genius. And I think this is where, and I'd love your insight on this too, this is where entrepreneurs fail, is because they aren't organized enough. They may not be organized enough to fill that time because they're so used to doing the grunt work, the frivolous things. I call it eating soup with a fork, right?
Right.
They're doing all the activities they're eating soup with a fork all day. So when they hire someone, they just continue to eat the soup with the fork alongside of the person now. And now it does cost money. It's not an investment. So what are some strategies for people to get prepared to be a delegator, get prepared to bring on an assistant so that they don't feel like it's, oh, now I have to do all this stuff in order to have an assistant? Because I know you've got a strategy and a plan, and you're going to say, well, what do you want us to do? And they're going to, I don't know. I can't do it anymore.
Right, exactly. And one of the things that is helpful to us when we're bringing on new clients is in our very first meeting, and even sometimes in our discovery call, before the discovery call, I ask them to make a list of the things that they're doing. What are they spending their time doing that they probably shouldn't be doing? And come to the call with that. Let's talk about that. What of those things can be taken off their plate? And once they take them off, what are they going to spend their time doing? Would they rather be doing? What is going to make the most difference to the business? So it's those kind of conversations that we have that help to build the strategy for what it's going to take for them to, first of all, wrap their head around the fact that they're not going to be doing these things anymore. And that there has to be a short amount of training to help educate the person who's going to be taking it over.
Yes.
A check-in here and there, make sure that they're doing it right, make some adjustments wherever necessary. And then before you know it, they're off and running, doing their thing. And now you can focus on building that strategy or casting further vision or, thinking about the next year and what you want to do differently. Or how you want to grow.
I love that. Wonderful. Thank you so much again for sharing that. So here's another question I have for you. And, I'm kind of oscillating between your business and other people's businesses. This is what Business on the Vine is all about. In the song, I heard it through the grapevine, right? We're just chatting about business and we're like, I can ask you all these questions, but what internal habit do you have, good or bad, that has most influenced your leadership skills or your evolution of leadership? So think back in your corporate days, because I come from corporate too. And I remember the day that I got elevated to a manager and I had no clue what I was doing. I look back on that and I think you have a high IQ, but your EQ has some work. Right. So what's a good habit that you have that's really influenced, or good or bad, that has influenced your leadership evolution? Something that, maybe you're a disruptor and that's how you get things done. And there's someone listening and goes, oh, you mean I don't have to be like that? I can be genuine and authentic.
Right. Well, there's a couple things. So I am a firm believer that nobody comes into our lives by accident, and that everyone serves a purpose of some sort, even if we don't really understand what it is in the moment.
Yeah.
And I've had these experiences in corporate America where, I was very good at what I did and, very educated, very smart, and just basically, operated like I knew what I was doing. Well, I went to a particular company and the other assistants didn't have degrees and this was the only job they'd ever had. And, and so bottom line is they were intimidated by me.
Yes.
This is what my boss told me. And he said,
you need to be softer.
Yes. You need to be softer. You can't just talk to in your body, and you can't make people just change their whole schedules just to accommodate you and that sort of thing, which I was in the habit of doing because that was what my previous boss had required.
Right,
Anyway, so
right.
that kind of trickled over. And that's how I was operating. But he said, you're very good at what you do, but you're like a bull in a china shop. And so you're getting the job done, but you're killing the soldiers. Renee, you have to take more of a personal interest in people.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, God.
Why?
Ugh.
Why?
I was like,
Right.
I was like, that is the last thing I want to do. I'm like, I'm here to make friends. I'm here to do a job.
That's
And
right.
it's like, if you're going to go very far in your career, or if you're going to do anything significant, you must take an interest in people. And I was so mad, Lady Jen, I was so mad about this conversation that somebody was complaining to my boss about me. I literally started crying.
Oh
I
gosh, yeah.
was furious. And I was like, I don't even know how to do that. What do I need to do? Tell me what to do. He's like, just ask people about themselves and their lives. What did they do this weekend? And
Yeah. And
right?
well, and look, if you're not, you're not watching us, my tongue's sticking out, my eyes are rolling, and I'm going, nobody puts baby in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner. I'm not acting like that. Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh. But there were no truer words when I tell you.
Absolutely.
I practiced it. I was so fake at the beginning, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I was like, hey, how's it going? How was your weekend? And then I had to make myself listen,
Yes.
and then remember, like I really cared. You know what I mean? And it was so robotic for the first, I'm gonna say 6 months easily. But this was like a 2-year process of me doing this over and over and over again until it actually became real. And I actually truly started taking an interest in people. And they actually started to matter to me, and it actually started showing up in my leadership skills.
Yes. And you know what? That's where you're starting to grow that EQ, that emotional quotient or emotional intelligence. And it's so amazing because your story is just like mine. I mean, I'm not going to go through mine entirely, but I would, before I walked into someone's office, I would stand outside of their office and go, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I go around the corner. What'd you have for dinner last night? But I was tapping my foot on the floor going, well, that's great. Wow. Hey, can I get you to do something for me? And now she would do it, right? But if I came in steamrolling, like you're talking about, I mean, I didn't want to go there. I went this way kicking and screaming just like you. But if I didn't do that, she's even said to me, with an attitude like that, I'm not doing anything for you today. And I was like, what attitude? I just need stuff done.
Right. Exactly. Oh,
I totally get that. That is so interesting. I wonder if it's just a woman thing. We're going to have to explore that. I wonder if it's just a woman thing. Like men don't really care. They get in, they're like, hey, I need you to do something. Or, maybe it's easy to talk about golf. Or maybe, I don't know what they talk about with women. I'm not in the corporate world anymore, so I have no idea. But that's very interesting that you experienced that same thing. Yeah, very interesting. So the habit is having that curiosity about people. And understand, curiosity isn't, I have to know 1,000% about someone. It's just curious and listening when if you say, hey, did you have a good weekend? Yeah, really good. Oh, good. Instead of that, you're saying, well, tell me what you did. It's just that one little extra tennis game, right? The bouncing back and forth. And that's really, really good counsel for people that are listening.
And then one of the other things that clued me in that I was on the right track was that I started using more words in my messages. And if there weren't enough words in the message,
right, because you just want to get to the bottom line, just
exactly, like I'm just a bottom line kind of person. But some people, they need all the extra, oh, it's so great to hear from you. Hope all is well, blah, blah, blah. I was just wondering, can I, da, 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 da. So if you don't have, if your email is too short, then get some more words in it, and then it'll help you get further down that path quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's not just dictating, right? It's not dictating, it's delegating, not dictating.
Right, right, exactly.
That's the old way.
Unless that's the style of your assistant.
Of course, of course.
If your assistant's style is a bottom line, like she doesn't like all of those words, just bullet point me.
Yeah, that
Bullet,
disc, well, it's disc profile. I mean, as
yeah,
soon as you said it's disc profile. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Because I can be that. I can just be got it
yeah.
done. And people are like, well, wait a minute. What? Where's the emoji?
Right.
Right? Where's the emoji? Because if you have someone who's a high I and I happen to be as well, and you put emojis in there, I'm like, oh, with them, right? So, but yeah, but someone else is like, well, maybe you aren't as smart as I think you are because you just keep saying done,
Right,
right? And there
right.
needs to be more flavor on it. I love that. Very good point. Very good point. So measuring that and seeing the responsiveness of that, and that's really important too. And I know you'll tell me about this here because I'm kind of going to push this question and this comment and the same thing. Um, you know you've won when your assistant or someone on your team writes like you do, speaks like you do,
Mm-hmm.
has the same verbiage, you know, and I call it voice. I call it
Mm-hmm.
voice, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
going to McDonald's, they say, can I take your order? And going to Starbucks and they say, what can we get started? It's a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you know you've won when someone responds to an email and you're like, that I could have written that. I could
Yeah.
have written that, right? So how do your clients, those that, you know, bring you on board as a virtual or an executive assistant with you, how do they describe the real transformation that they experience and not just the tactical wins? Like I have more time, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I have a bigger team, we have more revenue. Those are the tactical wins. But what would they say from an emotional perspective? And this
They
is
feel lighter,
lighter.
lighter. They
Yeah.
feel
So if you feel
lighter.
anchored, you want to get not be anchored and you want some more lightness. Yeah.
They feel they can actually, they have clarity. They can actually have space and capacity. They have
Mhm.
space and capacity and they are lighter.
To
So
be curious.
yeah.
That might be the issue, right? They can't even be curious because they're too busy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
We had one client who was, before we started with him, wearing all the hats.
Mhm.
And once we took over pretty much his all of his busy work, email management, calendar management, and scheduling all of the meetings, doing all the presentations and expense reports, that sort of thing, and that he was no longer doing those, he said, for the very first time, I'm no longer putting out fires. I'm
Mhm.
proactively thinking
Mhm.
about the next thing for us.
Yeah.
And he actually wanted to go and build a like an academic portion of his business, like a
Mhm.
training type of curriculum for learning more about his industry, which he was able to do once we came on board and took all those
Mhm.
things off his plate. Because,
Yeah.
and even though it was a desire in his heart from before, he couldn't even think about it.
You couldn't, it was so what it's untouchable, it's unreachable. Yeah.
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 This is
Couldn't
why
even.
I say, and I'm going to say it again, stop working in and on your business and start living above and beyond it.
Yes.
Because once you have, you know, the in is creating it, the on is systems and people that, right? And the above now is where you get to go out and do the things you want to do. And the
Yeah.
beyond is your beyond. In his beyond, he wanted to create an academic opportunity, right? An
Yeah.
educational platform. Some
Yeah.
people, their beyond is resting. Some people,
Mhm.
it's starting a new business, or some people, the beyond is okay, well, we went from here to there. Now let's go from here to there, right?
Right.
From
Right.
go to the next
Exactly.
level
Yeah.
because now I've got the team and I know how to duplicate this. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
Absolutely.
What's on your heart to leave with someone who's listening today who might feel overwhelmed or struggling, you know, hit that ceiling? Because I know that that's my client too, by the way. You just serve them a different way, right?
Right.
And you serve
Right.
them a different way. But what do you say to them? What do you want to give to them today?
I would like for everyone in the audience to know that they are worthy of
Mhm.
being cared for.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that keeps people from delegating, keeps them taking on too much, trying to
Mhm.
do all the things. Um, whatever it looks like. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier about fear and all the different things that keep people from delegating. Part
Yeah,
of that could,
that's beautiful.
yeah,
And
part of
it
it could
struck
be
me
worthy.
personally too. I mean, go
Yeah.
ahead. Part of what? Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that keeps people from delegating is
Hmm.
this sense that they are not worthy of
Hmm.
being cared for.
Yeah.
I want to stop that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, it hit me too, because, I was in sales for so long. And
Mhm.
so when someone said, well, what can I do for you? I go, no, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Right. But I want referrals, but I
Mhm.
wasn't in a receiving mindset.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so that kind of hit home with me. It's like, am I worthy to have someone do some things for me and take care of me? That altruist nature that a lot of virtual assistants have. They do want to help and support and make
Yeah.
sure your back is covered. And, it even makes me think of my husband who wants to pick up my plate after I've taken the last bite, but I haven't swallowed it yet. And he
Mhm.
wants to take the plate. And I'm like, I just finished. I can do it. I can do it. And he's, well, let me do it for you.
Yeah.
So if it shows up in your personal life, more than likely it's showing up in your business too.
Absolutely. Let people
Yeah.
serve you. Let people, whether it's referrals. I love the referral example.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And because we all would love to have referrals, but it's that receiving, being the recipient of something
Mhm.
good is
Yeah.
hard. It can be hard. I want it to
Yeah.
not be
Well, we
hard.
don't want them to see us sweat, right? We don't want anybody to know what's going on under the covers and,
Mhm.
and all that. And so we're just saying, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. But, and we all know this from, I can't think of it. Warren Buffett says that, right? Is that the weakness is not asking. It's
Mm.
not, I'm paraphrasing. The
Mhm.
weakness is not asking. That is not a weakness to ask for help.
It is
Where it
not.
is the not asking.
That's right.
And yeah, that's really powerful. Okay, so you have an assessment for us to have. So give us an idea for those that are going to go in and jump and get it. What's the assessment going to do for them? Is it long? Is it short? What's the aha that's going to happen?
Well, actually, what it is an opportunity for people to spark some thoughts in their head about where they might be able to plug somebody in.
Mm-hmm,
Because there's so many things going on in a business or on a daily basis, and they might
mm-hmm.
think, well, what can they actually do? What can I have them do for me personally? And this is a guide to help them finish the thoughts.
Yes. Okay. Good. I love that. And we need it. Sometimes we just don't know where to start. I
Exactly.
know I need somebody. I just need somebody. I don't know where they are. You know what? You're super nice. Let me bring you in. We'll find a spot for you. Worst thing you could do. Right. But we just don't know how to create that. So this gives us the stepping stones to be able to do that. I
Yes.
love that. I love it. Love it. So we'll have that link here in the show notes so you can go and get a copy of that and all of that good stuff. Renee, what is the best way for someone to contact you? Best way. Yes, I know we can do everything. Yes,
Yes.
best way.
The absolute best way to reach me is actually on LinkedIn.
Okay,
I
that's where you should
love
be.
LinkedIn. I am
Yeah,
there all day, every day.
right.
And I get so many emails in my inbox. I'm just like, nope, that's not how to reach me.
Yes.
Go to
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Okay, good. Is it at Renee Hastings at
Yes.
Renee Hastings?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yep.
good. And we
Renee
have, of
Hastings
course,
17, I think, maybe.
okay,
I'll
well, we
share with
have
you.
the link. We
Yeah.
have the link. So
Mhm.
we'll make sure it gets in there. But that's the best way. So if you want to
Yeah.
get answers now, don't
Yes.
go to her website. If you want answers now, don't email her. Go to LinkedIn. That's where
Yes.
she's. Yeah, I love it. It's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that, we're two people out there in the world going, yep, we have that same story as a young manager, a
Mhm.
young executive. It's amazing. There might be
Yeah.
a book in there.
Oh, yeah, you never
I'm always
know.
about books. I thought I was going to write one, and then I'm always going, that's a book. That's a book. That's a book.
I love that.
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, thank you again for joining us today, Renee. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Lady Jen. This has been fantastic.
Good. Hopefully you've had a great time. And
I
hopefully
have.
you all have had a great time too in learning, you know what, maybe I could delegate. Because what did I say? Delegate versus something else. It sounded good. You'll have to listen again. It sounded good. right? And instead of a dictate, right? Stop
Right.
being a dictator and start being a delegator, right?
Right.
And start soon, start young in your practice, because the better you are at that, the better you are at recognizing when you need somebody. So thank you for joining us. And please head on over to YouTube if you haven't done so, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, so you can watch and listen to not only this podcast, but my other, I don't even know how many I have. I have 3 podcasts, a Beyond the Podcast, which isn't a podcast, it's a YouTube channel, a YouTube show, and Business on the Vine, our TV show. So make sure you're hopping over there. Make sure you're following Renee as well. And who do you know who needs Renee that you could refer to? Because I bet she'd appreciate it very, very much.
Yes.
So with that, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll catch you on the next episode of Business on the Vine. Thank you for joining us on Business on the Vine. If you found value in today's conversation and would like additional support, go to supportfromjen.com. Remember, the best ideas are always discovered on the vine. So keep innovating, stay inspired, and continue to grow.